Hola, Nicole here. You know, I got my lights on again, and there's something that I like about these lights. Well, they light me really well, which is what they're supposed to do, but I always have to color correct the video because they make me look slightly green, and they're like daylight lights. Also, after I record with the lights on, I realize that I get a slight headache. I get migraines occasionally. I used to get them a lot. When I was in college, it was awful. Like I had to just lay down the whole day. And some of us who get migraines get what you call see an aura before the migraine pain comes. And it's like your peripheral vision closing in. You know, like a dream sequence in a TV show. You know that everything gets all wavy and stuff. The screen gets wavy and you know somebody's gonna experience a flashback. It's sort of like that, but on the edges of your field of vision. I get that. Like after I shoot with the lights on, I see that weirdness. And it makes me nervous because then I associate that with having headache pain later, or migraine pain specifically. But thankfully that hasn't happened. So I don't know, I may just be too close to these lights. They are hot too. I'm about 3 feet from the lights. They're out here. You can't see my hands, but they're out here and diagonally. That may be the issue. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm learning. I just got back from Trader Joe's and I had a bottle of wine in my basket. I had a lot of groceries and then a bottle of wine, and I put everything up and I didn't think anything about it. The cashier says she's scanning stuff, and she scans the wine and she moves on to something else, and then she says, and she's like scanning, she scans stuff after the wine, and then she looks at me and she says, may I see your ID please? And I just looked at her and I said, really? Like I wasn't really giving her a hard time, but I was just like, come on now, come on, really? Really? Okay, I've been told that I look younger than I actually am, but I am under no delusion that I look under 21. I'm not trying to look under 21. I think it would be absolutely ridiculous. See all this gray hair? I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. I see it every day. See? Gray, 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 gray. All right? Plus, I've lived. I don't look 21. I don't look under 21. I don't look any. I don't think I look like I'm in my 20s. You know, maybe. Yeah. I don't think I look like I'm in my 20s. And I'm cool with that. I did 20. You know, I did my 20s. So I've done that already. It's okay. She just smiled. I went rummaging through my bag for my ID. And I gave it to her, and she said, oh, she saw my real age. And she said, oh, you look much younger. And I said, I hear that a lot. And she said, oh, you should be happy. Which makes me wonder, how do we get to the point where we are all supposed to be trying to look younger? I don't. I know it's a thing. I really know it's a thing in Hollywood. Believe me, I know that. It doesn't make any sense to me. Since everybody is getting older, unless you die, because that's the only way to stop getting older. Everybody's getting older, and if we're all supposed to be aspiring to be 29 and holding or 19 and holding for the rest of our lives, then it means that we are never enough. You know, I'm never enough at 35. I'm never enough at 38. I'm not enough at 43. I'm definitely not enough at 60, 65, 70. You know, like, I got a problem with that, as you may have guessed. I had fun when I was younger. I had a lot of fun. You know, I did what young people did. I went to school. I had friends. I pushed boundaries. I tried to figure out who I was, went one route thinking that was who I was, figured out, no, that ain't for me, went the other route. I mean, that's the time you do that. You figure out who you are. How do we get to the place where the youngins are presumed to know it all, and anybody older than a certain age, I guess it's like, I don't know what it is now. What is it? 20, if you're older than 24, then you're over. That's most of the population. Really? And some of you, I know, will say, oh, you must be hating. You're hating on the youngins. You're hating whatever. I wish we could retire the word hating or hater. People have been saying that for over 20 years. I remember a time before people started talking about haters, if you want to calculate exactly how old I am. No, I'm not. I'm just asking a question. And I would love it if some of you would explain to me how it came to be that age is not revered, that youth is put above the experience and wisdom that usually comes with aging. Because I don't know about you, but as I get older, I realize that things that I thought I had figured out a long time ago, I didn't know what I was talking about. I mean, I said it with confidence, certain things. Hey, I know this, and I know this to be true, and I know this to be true about myself. And I look at things now, and I'm like, I didn't know what I was talking about, but I sure sounded good saying it. The older I get, the more I find out that I don't know. And I'm okay with peeling back that facade of having it all, knowing it all, having it all together, and gaining some real knowledge and wisdom that comes from personal experience. I am not telling you that young people are stupid. I'm not saying that. Sometimes I do say teenagers are stupid. Actually, more often than not, I say teenagers are crazy and they can't help it. And they really can't. They really can't. Most teenagers are plumb crazy. They got hormones going on. They're trying to figure stuff out, and things are coming at them, and they're just, what am I going to do with my life? And this boy doesn't like me. This girl doesn't like me. Just the parents are getting on my nerves. I'm going to college, or I'm trying to do whatever in school. They got a whole lot of stuff coming at them at once. I remember that time. I wouldn't go back to that time unless I could go back knowing what I know now. Other than that, no thank you. I may not survive it a second time. I think I might just drop dead, really, which is the only way to stop getting older, which is where I started. So I would love to hear from you. What is this thing? What is this obsession that we have? And when I say we, I'm going to talk about the American public, because I know some cultures, a lot of cultures, revere their elders. We don't revere our elders here by and large. At one point in my family, there were 5 generations of family members living, from great-grand to my mother to me, and then my sister had children. So I have a respect for older people, just in general, until they prove that they're just, fools. But they're not fools because they're old. They're fools because they're fools. And they're fools at every age, young, middle-aged, old. Every age group has value. And I think by chasing what's new, what's young, what's hot, what's hip, what's now, we become disconnected from one another. And then we lose our roots. So I don't really know how that happened. I think it's sad that it did. If you have any insight, I would love for you to comment below. You can do a video reply if you'd like. I'm really trying to understand this. It's something that I've wondered for a long time. I dated a guy back in late teens. Yeah, basically late teens. He was a jerk. He would say things like, your family's all old, my family's young. I mean, and that was supposed to be a put down. And I never got it. I was just like, okay, so like, yeah, you have a really young bunch of people in your family. And like I told you, I had great-grandmama and her husband. I had grandmother and her husband and her ex-husband, and my mother and my stepfather and my my biological father. All these people were in my life, all of them. My mother, wait, did I say that already? But all these people were in my life, and I feel like I benefited from sitting at their feet and learning from all of them. And I don't know what kind of fool I would be if all I had was people that were 15 to 20 years older than I am. If that's all I had, because who guides them? I think there is a value to wisdom being passed down, life experiences being passed down. Not to say that I live my life and do the same things that my grandmother did, my great-grandmother did, that my mother did. I make choices that are right for me, but I have the benefit of knowing what they've done, how they've lived, mistakes that they've made, and I can use that to formulate an opinion. I don't have to go through everything that they've gone through because they did it and they told me about it. I don't have to make all the mistakes that they made because they did it and they told me about it. If I'm wondering about something, I can say, hey, hey mom, hey dad, whoever, what do you think about this based on their experience? And then I, as an adult with my own set of experiences, can then run it all through my filter and do what feels right in my gut. So I think there's a benefit to having older people in our lives who are fine with being older and not trying to pretend as if they just got here, not trying to be the hot new thing. Now, as someone who enjoys technology, I do. I code. I play video games. I always have. And I was talking to a friend of mine recently who said he has I think he said four or five apps on his phone. And I wondered, how many apps do I have on my phone? Over 150, okay? That's how many apps I have on my phone. And I texted him and he wasn't really surprised. I was shocked because I love technology. I like knowing what things do. How does this work? How can I make this particular process easier by leveraging technology? I love that kind of stuff. I'm not a technology chaser where I have to be on the bleeding edge of what's new and what's hot, but I test things out just so I know about them because I'm interested. So I'm not saying that as you get older, you just have to, take your Geritol. Do they still make Geritol? Sit in your rocking chair and watch your stories and gum a banana till you die. No, I'm not saying that. Live your life. But honor the fact that you have been here for a while and that the teeny boppers and the tweens and the millennials, I don't know, I think the millennials are considered old now, I don't even know, or whatever comes after the millennials, they just got here. They're figuring it out. We've been where they are right now. Let them do what they do. Unless it's a genuine interest of yours at 40 years old to be up in the club, let them do that. Unless you're really all about being in the club. I did it. You know what? It's the same stuff at the club every week. And it took me about 10 years to figure that out. But once I figured it out, I learned to keep my behind at home and read a good book. I'll still go out and enjoy myself, but I'm not doing it the same way, Nobody says that you have to just give up on life. But you know what I'm saying, okay? In the spirit of this video. When is it okay for us to just be us? Which, again, I feel like there's a real power in just owning who you are and saying this is who I am. Not in a way that excuses behavior that may damage anyone, including yourself, but just owning yourself and this is who I am. I love the Eleanor Roosevelt quote where she said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." I love it. I love it. I love it because sometimes if I'm feeling insecure or questioning, can I do this? Am I good enough? We all have days like that. Can I do this? And I think of that quote. I love quotes in general because they remind me that somebody has been where I am and has lived to tell about it. I think of that particular quote and I decide I'm not going to feel inferior because I'm not. And honestly, I know it, but there are moments. There are moments in time and things that people can do to you or say to you, or you just self-doubt creeps in and you go, am I up to this task? Am I good enough? Am I enough? Yeah. In my last video, I talked about being reduced by competing with other people, this is another way that we allow ourselves to be reduced by assuming that we aren't enough because we aren't young enough. We aren't what's hot. And then we start to emulate what we think other people want us to be, and you lose your footing. We lose our grounding. I said all that to say this. You are enough. I'm enough. Even on the days when we don't feel like we're enough, you are. So tell yourself that. I am going to eat some popcorn, drink some wine. I think I'm going to paint today. All right, y'all.